Marvelous. Well, good morning, honored guest Tom Jackson, students and staff across Canada, the United States, and even around the world. My name is Chris Ford, and I'm hosting today's interview from two borders. I'm at the border of Treaty 2 and Treaty 4 territories, like right on the line, and the border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, again, right on the line, at the Lake of the Prairies, which is a lake that's shared by the two provinces. Today, we have the wonderful opportunity and great fortune to continue a conversation that began last week with Tom Jackson. And I am proud to see a few of my students have opted to join us on their break from school to be a part of this. Tom Jackson is someone who has been impressing me since I first heard him sing the Huron Carol when I was about the age of the students in this meeting. And he has continued to impress me to this day. Last week, we had a powerful conversation. And it was a conversation about life-changing moments, from Tom being taught a few chords on a guitar at a Winnipeg Indian and Métis Friendship Center, and discovering the power of his singing voice, and ultimately his voice in the world. To him working with his brother for Lloyd Axworthy's Urban Studies program and meeting residents with as many as 15 people living in a 3-bedroom house. We learned about how Tom learned from this that he wanted to help others. We had a conversation about truth and reconciliation, which made me think of Mr. Jackson's song, "I'm Not Saying, I'm Just Saying. We could put an end to war," which to me communicates that this can be a great world. We need to recognize the power that is in each of us, and the even greater power when we work together, and to take action to be kind, to show kindness, and watch that kindness spread across our schools, our communities, our cities, our country, and comes back to us again. We had a conversation about good medicines. What makes your soul feel good? To leap, to learn, to laugh, and most of all, to love. Think of love as a verb, Tom says. Talk to your friends and your family. Recall how you used to laugh 200 times a day, and what a goal that is for all of us. Finally, we talked about water, and maybe starting a program called Water Matters, and reminding politicians that if they aren't going to save the lives of our brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers, and provide potable water, then maybe we shouldn't vote for them. And we can tell all our friends not to vote for them, and they won't be working very long. So they'd better take this issue of water seriously and take it to the boss and make some changes. Tom, I came away from that Valentine's interview very inspired. I had to call my mom as soon as I could, and did later that day, and we had some giggles. And that reminded me to giggle with my kids more often. And I felt a sense of urgency to continue organizing and working to create positive change in Canada. That was our first 30 minutes with Tom Jackson. So I cannot wait for the next 30. So without further ado, bienvenue, tawau, and welcome, Tom Jackson.
Hello. Here in Charlottetown. I'm in PEI, Prince Edward Island, and I was so blessed last night because I was participating with a group of people who had come to hear us perform, myself and Tom McKillop, as part of the celebrations for the Winter Games here. And, you know, it's just unbelievable to see people when they join together in a united spirit of giving and faith and hope, to see how that not only affects them, but it affects me. Because it was interesting, because I was on the stage and I couldn't see the audience. The lights were so bright, I couldn't actually see the audience. But at some point, the lights seemed to come up on the audience, right? As they kind of lifted, it was so obvious. And it was just so thrilling to actually see that happen. And I'm trying to still figure out how and why that follows me around. But just like today, I'm very blessed to be with you, and I And I look forward to hearing what you might be asking.
Thank you so much. Our first question, from the fifth largest city in South Carolina, on the scenic riverfront of the Catawba River, named after the Catawba Native Americans, whose traditional land this city is located, home to super author Matt Christopher and two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Jim Hoagland. That's right, we're going to Rock Hill, South Carolina, at Sullivan Middle School with Madame Texera.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour, monsieur. So I'm a French immersion teacher. My name is Cynthia Texera, and we are at Sullivan IB Middle School. So in our classrooms, we only speak French. So you're going to get a question in French and English. On va commencer avec le français. Vous avez joué des rôles uniques de North of 60 à Star Trek, à Outlander, et maintenant dans votre nouvelle série, Sullivans Crossing, qui sera diffusée cette année sur CTV et Crave. Quel a été votre rôle préféré à jouer? Comment était le personnage? Et est-ce que ce personnage vous ressemble? En anglais, not English. You have played some unique roles from North of 60 to Star Trek to Outlander, and now your new series, Sullivan's Crossing, that airs this year on CTV and Crave. What has been your favorite role to play? What was the character like? And is that character anything like you?
It's a really interesting question. I had the opportunity to play a character by the name of Billy Two Feathers in a show in a series called Shining Time Station, where I was the engineer, if you will. And when the community, children mostly, had issues, they would come to Billy and ask what they might do to solve their problems. And to have students of all ages have the faith to come and ask a question to an old Indian guy like me, it's a thrill. And the reason it's a thrill is because I can see change in front of me. And I think you can see change too. All of you can see change. If you exercise your opportunity to sense the person you're talking to understand who they are, to better be in the moment, to find that when you're talking to each other, that there's nobody else in the room. And it's really important to be understanding your privilege to actually be in the same room, in the same spirit, you paying attention to them and them paying attention to you. And it's really interesting. Somebody asked me the other day, so what's this role that you're playing in Sullivan's Crossing? And I had an opportunity to take part in developing the character that I play in Sullivan's Crossing. So it is very much like me, but when I describe this to someone else, I say, did you ever see Shining Time Station? Because this is kind of like a new generation of Shining Time Station and Billy Two Feathers. My name is Frank in this series, but it's really Tom. But it's really Shining Time Station, and it's really Billy Two Feathers. So it's very similar. It's kind of like Shining Time Station for adults, if you can imagine what that is. But it's not just for adults, don't get me wrong. It's a family thing, and it makes us all feel good. So there you go. Shining Time Station, Billy Two Feathers, and currently Frank in Sullivan's Crossing.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. It reminds me of what Tom Power, who we just interviewed recently, was saying similar about the importance of just meeting eye to eye and communicating one-on-one and listening to each other. For our next question, I don't need to go very far at all, physically or relationship-wise. I just need to turn my computer to my son.
Hello.
And this is Xavier, and He is in his last year of elementary school, heading into high school next year. And Xavier has a question for you.
You've worked with so many different actors who have you enjoyed working with the most? And is there anyone you really connected with?
I have to say that there's two people. One of them, well, they're both dear friends of mine to this day, but one of them is my brother, sort of, and that's Graham Greene. And he and I have had a lot of projects that we've worked on together. And the other one would be Tina Keeper, who was the star of North of 60. So, and I think the reason that I relate so closely to them is that they were both unafraid to hold me. There's a thing called hugging. That's one thing. But there's a thing called holding. That's a whole other thing. And I was sharing that with these folks that I was with last night. And the hug sometimes can be uncomfortable. But the hold, it's magical. So a hold is like a hug would be like this. A hold would be like this. No, wait for it. Don't let go. Don't let go. Take a deep breath. That's the difference between a hug and a hold. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Very nice. It's now.
Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that I love you.
Okay. Thank you.
Me too.
He does too. Thank you.
So wonderful to have these ideas, about sharing time with each other and the people who are a pleasure to work with, and it's so enjoyable. Like I enjoy going into my place of work all the time because the people you get to work with are so positive and they bring the best out of you and things like that. Our next question, we're going to move west, almost as west as we can go in the North American continent of Turtle Island, to the islands of the coastal Salish. We find Cloverdale Catholic School and Clive He and a student.
Hi, my name is Maylene. I'm in the student leadership team in Cloverdale Catholic School. And my question for you is, would you be interested in working with us in the future? Maybe consider hosting one of our upcoming events.
Would I consider it? Yes, I would. I'm saying that with just a little hesitation, knowing that I serve many masters. So it's really important to get this into my world in a tangible way, meaning to say, somebody put it in writing, send it to me, and make sure that Allison is copied. Because I don't have the perfect memory, and I won't claim that I have the perfect memory. You see this, I looked in the mirror this morning, I thought to myself, you look like a Q-tip. Anyway, sorry. Yes is the answer. It takes a league of people in my world to actually execute that and have it make sense. But it's like kind of making dreams come true. I'm not a dream, but it's kind of like making dreams come true. I often thought, what would it be like to have a safe place to dream? to make dreams come true, for us to be in the same room, to actually close your eyes and imagine a star and have the courage to reach for that star. And then you can say anything you want. You can paint anything you want. You can sculpt anything you want with that star. So you got to hang on to it. But then we can make things come true. We just have to want it. And we have to be brave enough to say, this is what I'm going to do. And everybody else in the room does the same thing. And we can make dreams come true, but we have to have a safe place to do that. So people like me and people like Chris, your teachers, your family, you might ask them, could we have a safe place to make dreams come true? And it would be awesome. Just awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's fantastic. And I think that was somewhat of the dream and the vision of this organization, which is to connect people and help them realize what is possible. And Tom, I think you've helped us do that today and helped us move forward by just spending your time with us, giving like you have for so many years. And we've learned about, what draws you to these incredible characters and how to hold one another. And as teachers, we're doing a job, and it has it's just a wonderful thing to, if this is our work, to create dreams, right? As a teacher, you're trying to help the students see what their potential is and help them get there. And that's what we're trying to do. So thank you so much. Merci infiniment. Miigwech and Kawapamatin. I hope to see you again. And 1,000 thank yous.
We'll see you again.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay.